What was the biggest lesson you each took from your relationship with one another? Who wants to go first? Corey?
Okay, well, I guess I'll go first. I've been called to duty. So I've the big takeaways that I learned from Katie. It's choosing vet. I talk about a lot about vetting in my video newsletters. Vet the people that you spend time with, that you date. And the thing with her is that she's just always easygoing, easy to get along with, and she's a great communicator. And so I could ask questions, and she would answer. She wouldn't try to stonewall me. And also the importance of a good family. Her parents really love and care for one another. They've been together a long time. They're very sweet, very kind, warm people. They treated me like family. This is the first time I met them. I went and stayed at her and her parents' house. And so women that come from a good background where their parents communicate well, they talk things out. I never saw them get mad or cuss each other out or throw things at one another or yell and scream. They were always very calm, and they would sit down and they would talk things out. And that was what was great about Katie, is that she would talk things out, and when she says she's going to do something, she does it. If she says she's going to be somewhere at 4:30, she shows up at 4:29. She says what she means. She means what she says. And a lot of women aren't like that. They're perpetually late. They don't do what they say they're going to do. They promise this, they promise that, and then they come up with an excuse why they didn't do it. And so it's pretty easy to be in a relationship with somebody that when they tell you they're going to do something, you can depend on that. Because the number one most important thing to us guys in relationships is loyalty. And she, was a loyal person. And if a dude was hitting on her, she would tell me about it, and she would tell me what she told the guy. Hey, I got a boyfriend. It's like, I appreciate it, but I'm in a happy relationship. Versus women that have lots, that come from broken homes, and they got lots of male orbiters, dudes that are stuck in friend zone that are hoping to eventually get their shot with her. She didn't have all that crap going on. She was just like, when she would tell you something, you could take it at face value. Plus, she was big into self help, so she had done a lot of self care, work on herself to become a good person. Because like Jim Rohn said, I'll take care of me for you, and you take care of you for me. And she did that, and that's why it was so easy to be with her. And it's always been like that. Even like Chunky's dad is like, he's never once in almost 40 years I've known him ever raised his voice at me. I don't ever remember being pissed off or angry. And my other friend Sean, same way. He was also a good friend of Chunky's dad. We all went to high school. He was the same way. I've never seen him get pissed off or angry at me. Maybe a little ornery when he had too much to drink at times late night, but just nice, easygoing, easy to get along with. And so, from that perspective, it's like when you've had a relationship with a woman that behaves that way, and then you come across a woman like my Brazilian girlfriend. I remember we had
Tell
several
me about it.
conversations about her, and I was just like,
I was like, what? Okay, I shouldn't say
yeah. So
that.
so I had a standard that I was used to, and quite frankly, from a communication perspective and an attitude perspective, she was, the Brazilian was a total step down from that, because I just wasn't used to somebody that was just so grumpy. And I mean, she was moody and she was grumpy, and if she didn't want to talk about it, she was like, I don't want to talk about it, and she would stonewall me to the point where she would literally hang the phone up when I'm trying to figure out why she's pissed off at me. And then I wouldn't hear from her for 3 or 4 days, and then she would call me, just like nothing ever happened. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to have fun. Let's just sweep the things under the rug. And so that the tension stays there, and she doesn't allow you to dissolve the tension. It's like that's what she learned. You're pissed off at somebody, you punish them. But when somebody like Katie grows up in a healthy family where the parents just talk things out, it comes natural to her. Even when she says no, I don't want to talk about it, because all women say that. But you could get past that. You could dig a little bit, and she would open up, and you'd be able to resolve things, because you can't solve problems unless you can talk openly and honestly about them. And so that was something I hadn't ever experienced with somebody up until that point in my life. So it
Yeah.
spoils you. And so that's why girls like her, they don't come along every day. And it's like I say many, many times, women that you really connect with on a deep soul level, you're going to get maybe 1 to 3 of those a decade. So if you figure you're in a relationship for a few years, you might be single for a few years, and you're in a relationship for a few years, then you're single for a few years. That's maybe 3 people a decade. So that's why they sting so bad when a guy meets somebody and he has that kind of a connection and he screws it up by displaying all kinds of unattractive behavior, over pursuing, acting needy, being too soft, allowing her to walk all over him. And you know, when a woman loses respect for you, it's like she can't love a guy she doesn't respect. Because if you won't stand up to her and put her in her place and let her know that maybe what she said or what she did was out of line or rude, you know, she's not going to respect you. And if she can treat you like a doormat, it's like she's not going to feel safe. Because if you won't stand up to her, you won't stand up to a bully or somebody that's, you know, or a family member that's bullying her. Or if you're in a dark alley and you're physically threatened, she's going to feel you probably take off and leave her to fend for herself. She's just not going to feel safe with you.
Okay, and same question for you.
Can you repeat the question? What I learned? I think.
What was the biggest lesson you took from the relationship with Corey?
How much I love Florida.
I want to be a real
Sunshine,
American
Be an
girl.
American girl.
Yeah.
Learning the American language. That I think your values, how important your values are, because we were both going through personal development stuff at the time, like immersed in it, and we met through that sort of side of things. So that communication, how important that is, and knowing what it is you want, and as a woman to be treated like a woman, how women I feel should be treated.
A gracious lady, of
leisure.
leisure.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so what you value
Gracious.
and communication, and just being with somebody who has the same sort of values as yourself and same morals as you, that's really important. Because I think even if you really can be enticed in with someone, and I've been in relationships with people who I think, oh, they're incredible, we don't share the same values and morals, and therefore it ends up in a bit of a friction between you both. And one person can't change the other person can't change the other person. And like I was saying yesterday, so am I speaking too fast? But
No.
like we were saying yesterday, you can compromise in relationships with many things. But one thing I learned is you can never compromise yourself for a relationship or for someone else.
You have to love yourself first.
Yes. We were having a discussion about this yesterday.
Yes.
So it's just about valuing yourself and communication and understanding what the other it can be like, be living in a different place and being in a different environment. And what I've really learned from this as well, and it's really come home to me this trip, even like much later on. Florida's always had a special place in my heart, but as I was driving down today, I was thinking just how special it was, and it is, and that's what I've really learned
Thank you.
more so, and I mean it.